the strangest feeling to know what to believe in. Cause every time you touch me, I can't control my body. Oh, baby, you are on my mind, all I think about, and I don't wanna stop.
From dating to relationships, from sex to love, from Christianity to politics, from darkness to light, you have now entered into the real zone. Welcome to Conversations with Trent, where no topic of conversation is safe from discussion. Now, here he is, Mr. Epic himself, Trent Williams.
What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, beautiful people? Welcome to another conversation with Trent and friends, featuring the Coach D, the lovely Coach D. What's going on, folks? We got a good one tonight. We got a real good one tonight on this messy Sunday, as we like to call it, messy Sunday. Coach D's already getting the hate mail. I pushed it out earlier the week and had a pro on it. She said she got a couple of comments on it already. So, topic for tonight. Alpha male or insecure? That's a question. Alpha male. Let's bring the good coach and see what she's talking about.
Hey there, how's everybody doing?
What's going on with you?
Oh, not much. Just getting ready to make a whole bunch of people mad at me again. You know how I do.
As always, all hate mail goes to dlayler@gmail.com. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah.
So, what was your thought on? You said you received some messages. What you got?
Oh yes, I was told that I need to be retrained, and modern women are too independent, and I should take a step back and allow men to lead. And I'm like, sir, every single one of you sound very insecure, because leaders don't need anybody else to dim their shine, because leaders shine all on their own. And for being retrained, I was trained by a man. My stepdaddy taught me everything I know. So I don't know if they want, they can talk to him, but be prepared to be told about yourself, because he's not playing.
Absolutely. You mentioned that on the tail end of a broadcast we did. I don't know if it was on. I can't remember if it was on the pre-record or a live show, but I found it interesting. Alpha male or insecure?
Yeah. And here's the thing that I get all the time is, well, you don't know any alpha males. I'm like, I spent 18 years wearing green. I probably worked with more men than most of these people know. Having a penis does not make you a leader. Yeah, it's. I know leaders who are not technically leaders, who just got, it's. So
well, in my opinion, as far as the alpha male thing, it kind of get the whole word gets watered down a ton. In climate, everybody's beating on their chest trying to get their point across. But
you're skipping.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, but you're phasing in and out.
All right, so it's gonna be okay. It's actually the stream catching up.
Okay.
Yeah, but in my opinion, a man shouldn't have to tell you that he's a man and he's in control, or he's the take charge type guy. He's going to display that through his actions. So you don't have to beat on your chest. In my opinion, just my opinion. Go ahead.
Lions don't tell people they're lions; they just be lions.
That's it.
Was it be about it? Don't talk about it. Isn't that the word?
That's it.
Okay. But here's the thing: a true leader, a man who is confident and secure in self, is not intimidated by an equally strong woman.
By no one.
Right? They love equally strong women, because then they know they have a partner they can build with, who is equally as determined as them, who is equally as adventurous, who has the same traits. Because the traits aren't masculine or female. They're just traits. We like to
Right.
apply gender to a lot of things that aren't necessary, right? So
Right.
I pulled out. Remember we talked about that divine feminine, divine masculine, right?
Yeah.
So I had to pull those traits out, right? So
Um,
according to the list, because this is the patriarchy at work at its best,
mm,
masculine qualities are logic, reason, action, firmness, survival, loyal, adventurous, rational, and strength.
mhm.
Females don't have those qualities. We're intuition, nurturing, healing, gentle, expressive, wise, patient, emotional, and flexible. Right? How can you be wise without logic, reason, survival, rational, or any of those? How can you be
Exactly.
healing without adventurous?
Right. And where are
You
you
know,
pulling this from? Where are you pulling this from?
that's that divine masculine, divine feminine chart you can find. Right. So then
Okay.
I spoke with some of the men who I know who are leaders,
Hmm.
and I asked them what they think their best traits are, and 6 came out. This is what 6 of these are very high-ranking military men, and they said compassion, responsibility, empathy, integrity, authenticity, assertiveness with sensitivity, and honor.
Sounds like balance to me.
Yeah, right.
Mm.
And people forget to realize that we as humans, we're a mammal. We're creatures. We like to think that we're above every other creature on the planet because we can speak in languages, right? They all have their own language that they speak as well, other animals. And we have a tendency to be very arrogant about our capabilities. So we like to assign different traits that necessarily aren't gender specific, because gender in itself is a construct that changes, right? In the Victorian ages, men wore dresses, right? They don't now, but they used to. They wore dresses and tights. Every other creature on the planet, the male is the one that has to dress up to impress the female, right?
Right.
Men forget that women choose who they mate with,
That's true. Yeah.
right? A lot of men forget that. So they go around and what they think is being an alpha male, being aggressive and beating their chest and everything, doesn't attract alpha females.
Right. In every
Yeah,
species, the woman chooses.
yeah, every species.
Every species, the woman chooses. So some of you guys, case, you're not choosing her. She chose you
Yeah.
2 years before you even saw her.
Oh yeah. I had one of
Simple
the
work.
guys. He's like, "Oh yeah, I hooked up with this great girl." I'm like, "Was she wearing a matching bra and panties?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Nah, you didn't. You did not hook up with her. She hooked up with
She
you."
hooked up with you. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And he's like, "What do you mean?"
That's always been that has always been one of my superpowers,
Mhm,
understanding women.
mhm.
I totally get them. Totally
Yeah.
get them.
But these guys that you see out there, the ones beating their chest and talking about women need to step back and everything, those aren't the leaders. They're not alpha males,
Not at
right?
all.
I looked up for a definition what an alpha male is by definition,
Right.
and it says dominant and influential, holds top position in the social status hierarchy with great power and money. I don't know who these alpha males that are beating the passport bros definitely aren't alpha
Yeah.
males.
Be honest, let's be clear.
Mhm.
A ton of money don't make you a alpha male.
No, but this is just the definition. This is the
I got a
definition.
ton of money. In my opinion, a ton of money don't make you an alpha male because I know a whole bunch of folks with a ton of money. Yeah.
Well,
Hmm.
there's no such thing as an alpha to begin with. So this whole alpha thing came from a study
Right.
about wolves, right? So this guy
Mm.
just studied wolves and found out there was an alpha male and alpha female. Later on, he realized after more studying that there's an alpha male and alpha female because they are the parents of all of the wolf's cubs. That's why they're the alpha male and female. They're the parents. So he debunked that theory. There was another study done on alphas with chickens, and it's the hens that were the alphas, not the roosters. So
You'll get a lot of hate mail. But go
listen,
ahead.
well, here's some more. Here's some more that really make people mad at me. I've done my DNA. I know that I am descended from matrilineal tribes in Africa. So they want to talk about go back to your roots, sir. You need to take a look at your own history. I know people are like, well, Dee, men are meant to lead. I'm like, men go lead us into war all the time, and yet they call women emotional, right? Other than Maggie Thatcher, how many wars have women really started?
Interesting.
Right? It's
Let's. I say we got a comment over here real quick. Let's get to it real
okay.
quick.
Can you highlight it for me because I'm using my phone tonight? Oh, that's Martine saying hi, y'all. Hey, Martine.
Hey, my favorite. Good stuff. Yeah, Coach D and I have been absent. We just been doing some pre-recording and sending it straight to the platform. So
What? Oh my God, I forgot what our topic was. We just did was yesterday. Oh, I'm getting old. Lord, we had modern day lynchings.
Hey, that work. But put in that work. But go to p2gunitytv.com and hit on the watch now. Browse through, and I've been pre-recording, pushing them out to the Roku channel. Good stuff. Go ahead.
So I was in one of these black dating group, right? Because I like my gentleman black. That's my preference. I've dated all sorts. I prefer black. That is, I've dated Asian. I've dated white, Hispanic, the whole crew. So
isn't that something?
Well, I'm from Canada, so in my social circle, there wasn't a lot of black men, to be honest, right? So I was talking to this one gentleman. The question was, can you be submissive? That was a question put to the group. And this guy basically was saying women don't know how to be submissive because they can't take orders. And I was like, do you want a wife or a servant? And then when he started to describe things, it's like, you don't want a wife or a servant, you want your mother. And then it came out, one of the other ladies said, yes, that's the problem. When you'll see pictures of women with their family, and then you'll see them with their spouse, and they don't look the same because they're no longer being loved the same way. Because now they're being treated as an accessory. And I'm like, whoa. That sounds like some toxic relationship she's been in. And then I started thinking about it. I'm like, yeah, that's what these guys are talking about. They want women to do everything. They're just going to bring home money. She's bringing home money too, right? They're going 50-50, but she's bringing home the money and she's doing all the work in the house.
Interesting. What's up, Sal? I see you.
I'm like, that is crazy. So yeah, this alpha male thing with these passport bros is off the chain. Like, when
in my opinion, man, if you have to constantly tell someone that you're an alpha male, that you're the man and all this stuff, you're not really not secure within yourself. If you constantly have to remind, if you constantly have to do it and tell them, you're really not who you say you are.
And a lot of it goes back to how we raise our boys, or how some people don't raise their boys.
Do tell.
I've seen in parenting group, raising boys is easy. I'm like, no, there's no way raising a son that women won't have to heal from is easy, because you're fighting against a patriarchy every single day. Right? You're fighting against a culture that's telling him not to share his emotions, not to cry if he's hurt, that he's this, and this, when, not all men are aggressive sports players. I had a coach tell me that I need to get Xavier into sports because he's 5'4". I'm like, he doesn't want to do sports. He doesn't like sports. And he's like, well, he's a sissy. I'm like, sir, that little boy is like a tank. I would put him in football, and the other moms would complain that they're going to get hurt. Like, it's not about.
We just have to, as men, we just have to come equipped with great balance.
Mhm,
Balance is
exactly.
key, man. Balance is key.
Emotional intelligence.
Emotional intelligence, all that good stuff. You have to
Yep.
come with some great balance. While being a soft place to land, give her a soft place to land.
Yeah. Because when you look at it, if you don't have balance, that means you don't respect women, and women can't respect you if you don't respect them back.
Right.
Right? If you're
Right.
calling them all kinds of bitches and hoes and saying they don't respect you, I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't respect you if you call me names out of my name either.
Right. Like
Right?
today, folks would think that great balance is weak when it's actually
It's power.
exactly
Yeah.
superpower.
It
When you
is.
have great balance, you actually control the environment. You can control the atmosphere and everything.
Yeah, because it doesn't.
When you walk into the room, the energy gravitates toward you.
Mhm, yep. And people think that,
You don't
when
gravitate.
it's a special skill to walk into a room and everybody turns and looks at you without you doing
Absolutely.
anything.
Absolutely.
Right? And a lot of people don't realize what owning their space means, because a lot of people think owning their space means they have a big ego.
Not at all.
It's the exact opposite. It means you have confidence with humility. Okay?
Gentlemen, when you walk into the room, you bring the energy into the room.
Mhm, yeah. Yeah.
And the energy will automatically gravitate towards you. I
Mhm.
guarantee.
I've always had the problem where people will tell me their life story. If I sat down at a bus stop and said hello to somebody, next thing I know everything about them,
Right.
because I have honesty and authenticity. One of the people I was coaching, she said, I met you and I feel like I've known you my entire life. I'm like, yeah, because I allow you to be you. There's
Right.
it's all transparency.
No
And
bells and whistles at all.
I was
Yeah.
telling somebody, because they came to a public speaking engagement to do it, and he said him and his wife have two very different experiences.
Right.
She said she walked in, she felt, when I started speaking, she felt empowered. He said he felt intimidated, and it made him rethink how he looked at strong women.
Why? Did he explain? Did he express it? Did he say
He,
why?
he did, because when when I was speaking, he understood without me saying it that although I don't need a man, I do like having one in my life as somebody
So
who compliments me and not
he
completes
was
me.
intimidated by he was intimidated by those remarks.
He was intimidated because he always thought that his wife should complete him, not compliment him. And so she felt empowered because she could be herself without having to worry about how herself
Right.
is reacted upon by him, and that he has to have his own journey in order to respect himself and respect her.
That's
Because,
interesting.
yeah, like, she had a self-esteem issue, and he had issues with being told what to do by women. He was raised by a very sexist, narcissistic father who
Wow.
demeaned women. So he didn't realize how much of that had
Yeah.
reflected upon himself, and how he has been doing the same thing. Like, the apple doesn't fall from the tree, right? You often behave how you were raised, unless you've had therapy if you were raised in a negative environment. But I was curious. I'm like, what is it that I do that intimidates you? He's like, your energy just speaks that it's fine just the way it is. That there's nothing, you're not competing against anybody. You're just being you. And he said, that's scary for
Right.
people who always are in competition.
Right.
And I was like,
Wow.
I guess if you always have to compete against somebody because you're not secure in who you are, that would make sense. That would be intimidating. But I think when you've done enough therapy and you've done enough of a journey that you are confident in who you are as a person, with the good things and the bad things, because you're self-aware, I think it scares people who are not. Because it like you said before, it's a superpower.
It is.
You
Yeah.
know?
It really is.
A lot of people, before we've started our journeys, we get stuck in our egos. And ego
Exactly.
is messy. It's not kind, it's not
What you have
humble.
realized, man.
Yeah.
Folks don't realize when you embrace that and you take that on and suppress the ego,
Yeah, you
you're
start
gonna elevate
flying.
yourself.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And you can see it in when you're talking to someone who's done the work. You don't feel that any negative energy. You want to continue speaking with them. You want to be around them. Whereas other people can be very draining because they haven't done the work. So they analyze everything and they pick everything apart, right? Because they don't know how to just be yet. That makes that makes sense to
Exactly.
people.
Make a
Yeah.
ton of sense. Make a ton of sense.
Yeah. So then we get these alpha males, and I look at them when I hear them speak, and I'm like, I see insecurity. I see a lack of confidence in who they are as individuals. Blowhards are never confident. Bullies are never confident, right? That's the one way most people act out when they're insecure in who they are. So when I hear them talking, I'm like, you know, maybe you need to sit down and really think about what you're saying and really reflect upon it.
Right. That's that key word, reflect.
Mm-hmm.
Self-reflect. Self-reflect.
So
Most people, male and female, will run from the self-reflect.
it's being self-aware
Oh,
of your flaws is very difficult.
exactly.
You know, I know what my toxic traits are, and sometimes I can be a petty princess and let them fly, and and it,
Sometimes,
that that is how it is. So, it is
yeah,
who we are. None of us are perfect. If
at all.
somebody tells you they're perfect and they're enlightened and they've trans moved to the what is it the third dimension or something like that, is the thing people in New Age spirituality are saying, it's a load of crap. Let me just
Right,
tell you right now.
right. I get it.
Because there's no
I
elevated
get it.
beings on Earth.
Exactly.
They
The-
talk long enough, you can see through it.
Really don't realize life becomes challenging only when we act camouflage our truth.
Hmm. Yeah, life becomes a lot easier when you
Absolutely.
are who you are, right?
Absolutely.
Like I had to do a performance evaluation for my
Exactly.
job, right? Performance evaluation for my promotion. Everybody gets it before they do a raise, right? And she's like,
Exactly.
"Why do you like your job?" I'm like, "This was what I was meant to do. I love helping people, so I come to work every day ready to help people." I said, "You just pay me to do what I love to do. This is like getting paid's a bonus." Right?
Exactly.
So, you get my best work all the time. But
Speaking
I
on
see.
speaking on
Mhm,
alpha male and beating their chest,
mhm.
when they do those things and they constantly and repeatedly speak on that, that only magnifies your insecurities.
Oh yeah,
It magnifies it to the 10th power.
yeah. And a good analogy is if you look at silverback um, males. In
Right?
the silverback males do not do a lot of chest beating.
At
They
all.
don't have to because they know who
They
they are.
go in and handle business. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, like silverback male
They
can
go in.
easily take a.
That's such funny that you bring up the silverback, right? There's a film crew somewhere in Africa somewhere. They were actually
Mhm.
filming and studying the silverbacks and whatnot. So the silverback and his family, yeah, he
Yeah.
didn't even he wasn't even aggressive with the cameraman. So the cameraman was crouched down, laying down, shooting.
Oh,
He
is,
walks
is it,
by and he just grabbed him by the leg and pulled
yeah,
him like a couple of seconds. He just let him go like, I really could kill you, but I could monkey stomp you, but I'm gonna leave you alone today.
yeah, because both he and the cameraman knew. I know that film.
You
Both
know
he and
that?
the cameraman knew exactly what was possible.
Exactly.
Yeah? But here's the thing: humans are arrogant.
I found it so funny.
Yeah, we
Go ahead. I'm
are
sorry.
we are very arrogant. We
Absolutely. I totally agree.
and the arrogance is what our downfall. That's what
Yeah.
causes all our wars. Is our arrogance because we want power. We
And
want as
what's
much
so
power as we possibly can get.
what's so rewarding for me, and you know this personally with me. I used to have that issue. I used to be so arrogant. was so rewarding
Used
once I
to?
embraced it and suppressed it and got rid of it.
Yeah,
It was a
I agree.
feeling.
I
It's
said
a
you.
greater feeling
Yeah,
being on this side of things. What'd you say?
I said used to, and I was kidding. I was just kidding. You're not. You are definitely not as arrogant as you used to be. That is for certain. That is true.
I've
But
suppressed
that
it at a great deal. So yeah,
I don't think it's so much as a suppressive if you've learned to move beyond it,
exactly. I
right?
agree. Yep.
So yeah, arrogance. It's
Arrogance do more harm than hurt helping you. You know,
it does. It does.
I'm a
One
witness
second.
to that. I'm a great witness to that.
I have comments. 1 second here.
Go ahead.
Oh, that's Alvin joined us. Thank you. Welcome, Alvin.
Al Sal.
Yeah, it's you know what, arrogance and chest pounding. It may scare weak people, but strong people are above it.
Right.
Right? That's why Trump gets so many. If you listen to his supporters, they're very insecure in who they are and what
Absolutely.
and what they have and what they're capable of. Because people who are insecure in that don't have to worry about conning people.
At all.
Right?
At all. And
So,
when you really think about it, when you look at some of the things he's saying, some of the foul stuff that spews from his mouth, he's a very small man in stature.
mhm, yeah, because
He's a
because
very
it's
minute
how.
man.
Yeah, because when you don't want power, when you don't have true power, you want to grab it any way you can,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
Because you don't have confidence and strength within yourself. That's who it is. But
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what was your I was cutting the tape and you just blurted out like alpha or insecure. What were you thinking about when you brought that topic up?
what was the conversation about?
We were talking about something totally different,
Oh,
something totally social justice stuff.
yeah, no, it came up because somebody had sent me an email uh, because they said I was a know-it-all and a woman should know her place. I was like, oh, what
What's a
is my?
woman's place?
It's like, what is
Humanly,
my?
what's
Yeah,
a woman's place?
I'm supposed to be submissive and let men lead, sir. I'm not supposed to share all this knowledge I have. I'm not
Right.
supposed to tell people. I'm not supposed to tell people what's going on. And I'm like, women have been the educators for a millennia. I don't know where he at. So yeah, sorry. I will never learn my place. The army tried to beat it into me.
Right.
I think at what, I'll be
Yeah,
52 on Tuesday. I think it's a lost cause.
in this climate, man, you have to allow people to be who they are.
Yeah, it's
Be
like
who they are and let people just live.
some people can't do that because
And
they need to
it's
they
crazy.
because they have no control in their lives. They need to control others.
One more time for the people in the back who did not hear you.
They have no control in their lives, so they need to control others.
Exactly. You know what
Right?
that look like, folks? When your life is spiraling out of control, you want to control something. So even though it may look and you may perceive it to be that you got all your shit together, it's really not control. You want to control everyone around you. And
Mhm.
normally it's a very manipulative person.
Yeah,
Exactly. I totally get it.
yeah. Because people follow leaders not because they call themselves leaders, because they show themselves to be leaders. They prove themselves to be leaders. Like
Absolutely.
I've gotten messages from soldiers who I've taught who are going on to different courses, and they're like, "Dee, I have a question. How did you lead us so that we felt empowered, yet at the same time would do what you wanted us to do without a second thought?" I'm like, because you knew that I had your back, that my job was to lead you with confidence, but at the same time, even though that you knew I would call you out of your name, I would protect you and help you if you needed help. That's what leaders do. And people think that because they have a certain position that they're a leader. Just because you
Exactly.
come at a university and become a manager doesn't mean you know how to manage people,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly. Leaders
I
are
bet
very silent.
nobody's
And
talking. Everybody's quiet tonight. I'm like, oh,
yeah, they're very quiet. It's the topic. It's the topic, but
mm,
we tackle the topics that people don't like. So
yeah,
it's
but
cool. It's definitely cool. Definitely cool. But as I
yeah,
said, as far as a leader goes, a leader will keep it in its volume at 5,
hmm,
one at 70 with the breeze.
yeah.
While he's actually leading people, you lead people from behind.
You,
You don't have to be
you,
running ahead of the pack. You really don't.
you, right? Sometimes you're at the head. A lot of the time you're at the back because a good leader would know that to get the best, you allow the people who have the best to do their best.
Exactly.
And sometimes that may look like you're not doing the leading, and that's the best leader there is.
It's the one that doesn't look like he's a
Yeah,
leader's not gonna be a leader's not gonna be doing a ton of the work. And I'm not talking about physical work and stuff like that, but
yeah.
he
Like I'll give
he
you,
get the best that he can get out of them.
yeah, I'll give you an example. We were on an exercise, and we had a guy. We found out afterwards he had OCD, right?
Right.
So nobody wanted him on their gun. So they sent him to me because I was the youngest. Give him to a girl, right? She gets all the problem
Hmm.
children.
Right.
I love getting the problem children because the problem children are always gifted in one way or another. You just had to find it. So he
Right.
came over. I'm like, so what's going on, man? He's like, I have OCD. I'm like, what do you do? He goes, I count ammo. You are my ammo guy. And I tell you, the rest of the exercise, I was the only one whose ammo count was exactly right the
It
entire
was a
time.
breeze, right? It was a
Right?
breeze.
And then the
Exactly.
RSM came over. RSM came over. He's like, why is your ammo always right? I'm like, y'all have a guy who's OCD with math. He counts.
Exactly. And here's the
What
thing.
else would you put him?
Here's the thing with a great leader.
Yeah.
You ask the right questions. So you
Yeah.
pulled out exactly what you need to pull out of him to make the group better.
Yeah.
Good
And you know
stuff.
what? He became the unit ammo guy after that because the guy who counts is the guy you need counting ammo. And we always had the
Exactly.
right amount. You could turn to look at
Drum
him and
roll.
ask him how much was
Drum
on
roll.
how much.
You guys here today. Drum roll, please.
Oh, Slash came in halfway through the show. Grand
Drum
Rising
roll,
dominating people.
please.
Greeting Princess Coach D and Mr. Epic.
What
Well, he's
up,
not gonna argue with
Slash?
that. He missed all the good stuff.
I see you,
Oh
brother.
yeah.
I see you. Actually, I think he's been kind of busy because I think he had a gig and a project he was working on with
Oh,
the great Coach Schofield. He's a motivational speaker here that took a ton of kids and really raised them. And I'm talking about generation of kids. So
oh,
they're trying to actually pick up donations for him so he could actually get this documentary going for him.
oh.
Coach Stanley Schofield, great man.
What's
He's
the,
a great man.
what's the name?
Stanley Schofield.
Okay.
Yeah,
Send. You need to send me a link and then I can
he's a
post it on
great
my
man.
social media.
I'll definitely do that because he's a great man from the New Orleans area, and he's
Mhm.
raised a ton of kids
Yeah.
for decades. Good stuff. I see you, Slash. I see you working on that.
Those are the great stories we need to share because all too often we don't hear about those.
Absolutely.
Right?
I'm very good friends with his daughter Romy.
Okay.
Yeah, she doesn't live here anymore, but she lives away now. But
Okay.
real good friends with her.
Yeah, definitely. I'd be happy to share that. And I'll share
Yeah,
it
I
amongst
grabbed
my
it.
activist groups too. Get
You'd
some of
be
those.
surprised that his story is magnificent. It's very good, great story there, brother.
You know what?
Real good guy.
Within the Black community, we have so many great stories. Okay?
Exactly.
And well, here's the firm. Like they are leaders without beating their chest,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
And it comes back to I bet you that man would never call
Yeah,
himself an
absolutely
alpha
right.
male.
He's a prime example of that. And you're right. He's not that type of guy.
Yeah, because he's a leader. He's humble, aware of who he is, and all that stuff.
Exactly.
Mhm. And I see some.
Slash has a comment here.
Oh, I've been watching, just allowing the rest of the class to earn their grades.
Hey, you know what? We got to give it to him because Slash is always here putting on the
Slash and I
one
have a
two. So
love-hate relationship. I love reading his comments, even if I don't, because
good stuff, man.
9 times out of 10 he's going to bring some good stuff. I think he brings some nonsense just to get me riled up sometimes. Yeah.
Good stuff, man. Real
Pretty
good stuff.
surprising. But yeah, you know what? Self-confidence, when you get past the ego, your world opens up. Right? Because what happens is once people see you, that you're self-aware, that you're able to lead, that you're aware of your flaws,
Mhm.
that's when you start getting more promotions. That's when businesses, if you're looking for work, will hire you.
Absolutely.
They're not
And
going to hire the chest beater.
I get a little personal on here. Once and let that ego go, I started elevating.
Hmm.
Self elevation is the best elevation you could ever do for yourself. Self elevation. Everything started gravitating toward me. Once I let it go, everything started gravitating toward me. Everything was
Yeah,
good.
because you're no longer desperate.
What
Desperation
does
does
that
not.
look like?
Desperation repels. It doesn't attract.
One more time.
Desperation repels. It doesn't attract.
Absolutely.
Right? Like some people, when I was younger, my mother would said when she saw somebody on the street, she would help them, and she would always say, "By the grace of God, go I." Right? And I knew
Mhm.
that if you saw somebody in the street, you always help,
Right.
because you never know, that could be you in the next situation. Right? And I always people are like, well, gee, they could be using it for drugs or abuse. I'm like, you know, I give freely. I don't give with conditions. When Xavier and I go and
Right.
make box lunches for the homeless, we don't give with conditions. We
Right.
give them a lunch, and we give them a little. There's a little love note of motivation in there to know that they're seen and heard, and that they're people. And so many people don't do that. You know what I mean? It's being a leader amongst humans requires humility.
Right.
It requires self-awareness. It requires integrity and honesty and transparency, authenticity.
Right.
That's what makes you a leader. That's what makes people look to you in time of crisis.
That's right.
Right? I've never
That's
seen a chess beater win a war.
one
Right?
more time.
You never see a chess beater win a war. Even
Nope.
all our movies, when Independence Day, the famous speech is Independence Day, but we will be, this will be our Independence Day. He wasn't a chess beater. He was a leader with humility and authenticity.
Right.
Right? And that when you see like, was it White House Down? Trying to remember now. When Morgan Freeman was president.
Oh,
Anyway,
not the White House. That was Jamie.
it was one of
Uh,
the ones where the White House was attacked. And it's always the
that's the
leader.
White House now, but that was Jamie. Jamie Foxx.
Yeah.
I just saw that the other day. Yeah.
And they had that lone Secret Service guy, and he like went to, or former Secret Service guy, to go get people.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he was a natural leader, but he was confident and secure. Like in
Absolutely.
Taken, he's not a chess beater. He just says,
Absolutely.
I have a special set of skills. And he had a very sincere conversation that I will find you and I will kill you. You know, would you call him an alpha male?
Right. Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. There's a difference. There's a difference.
Yeah.
A clear, distinctive difference. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think all too often people get so caught up with beating their chests and this symbol that was 1980s macho man, that they've forgotten that we're in 2023 and people are self-aware and have done self-improvement
Exactly.
courses and know who they are, which is
Slash got a
just,
comment. One sec.
yeah. Uh, Slash. Oh, we read that one, and I'll be watching, just allowing the rest of the class to earn their grades.
Oh, gotcha. Gotcha.
Yeah, we watched that one already. Yeah,
Gotcha.
because Slash is a leader, but you don't hear him going around banging his chest, calling himself an alpha male,
Exactly.
because he's self-aware, like,
Absolutely.
right? And that's the thing. And I think all too often we get so caught up in these specific gender roles that were designed by the patriarchy to maintain one group in power.
Right.
And now that one group, who's the ones who are banging their chest the most, are losing power because other groups are gaining equal power. It's become
they're
this,
kind of desperate at this point. They're kind of
yeah,
desperate at this point.
it's become this 80s weird thing of nonsense now, where you look at people and you're like, man, you need therapy. You know? Like, I watched some TikTok lives, and I'm like, people actually listen to this fool. Like, you need to be careful who you're listening to and what you're putting in your
That's
head,
true. That's right.
right?
You got to be careful what your intake is. What you're intaking
Yeah,
these days.
yeah. They're like, I want a traditional wife. She's going to work and come home and take care of the kids and clean the house. I'm like, that's not a traditional wife.
Yeah.
Traditional wife does not work, sir. You are the provider. You do all the providing. There's no 50-50. And this one guy's like, what do you mean she doesn't work? I'm like, if you want a traditional where the wife does not work, that means you are the provider.
Right.
That means
Right.
you need to
Right.
make a lot more money. Otherwise, you
Yeah,
have a roommate.
pretty
And it's
much.
like, so, I, I, there's nothing sexier than a confident man who could walk into a room and own the room without saying a word. Yeah, and people are like, Dee, does that mean you're like one of those weak-minded women? I'm like, no, I understand power and what it looks like and what confident looks like, what humility looks like,
Right.
right? So, you know, I met one guy when I was married. I'm like, if I wasn't married, you'd be in trouble,
Oh,
right? Because it's it's very interesting to have somebody who's very confident, but at the same time, um, so secure in themselves that they can be gentle, but yet you feel completely safe with them.
yeah. I get it.
Yeah. It's a powerful feeling, and if somebody can do that, that's absolutely amazing. You know? And I see men who absolutely adore the ground their wives walk on,
Right.
and their wives absolutely adore them too. And if you look at them, they are a leader. They have power, humility, self-awareness, kindness, gentleness. They're loyal. They're adventurous. They have all these things that both men and women should have because they're a balanced individual.
Exactly. There's that word again.
Mm-hmm.
Balance.
All about balance. It's always been about balance.
Exactly. Balance is
Right?
a superpower.
Yeah, balance is a superpower because with balance you can lead anyone
Absolutely. Absolutely.
because you're in control of who you are. You're aware of what your capabilities are. You're aware of what your weaknesses are.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
what it is. So I think more people get caught up in titles and wanting a title without knowing what that title entails.
Yeah. I agree. I
Yeah.
agree.
So it's interesting, and nowadays it's become so toxic. The with how
Yeah.
people are
Yeah.
talking
The
about how
climate.
women should be treated.
Exactly. The climate we're in, man, is extremely turbulent at this
Mm-hmm.
point.
Very
And
turbulent.
here's the thing, though. What bothers me, what troubles me a ton, that no one's actually calling this stuff out, saying anything. They just look any other way. But I can't live like that. If I see it, I have to call it. I have
Yeah.
to call a spade. And it's very turbulent, very toxic. The behavior, and most times on both sides of the coin,
Mm-hmm.
male and female, is extremely toxic.
Oh yeah.
It's,
Because
it's it's a problem that needs to be addressed continuously and constantly.
no one's they they're not aware of who they are, so they're both being disrespectful to themselves and to others
Bingo,
because they're not confident in their own views on the world. They're not
bingo,
confident in their own views on who they are as a person, right?
exactly.
And so a lack of confidence shows, like, for instance, look at Kiki Palmer.
Yeah, I
So
saw that.
yeah, she was wearing outfit, and this fool came out and made all kinds of nonsense, talking to social media when he should have been talking to her.
Exactly.
And then people are like, and then, what was the thing he said? Oh, she should careful what she's wearing because she's a mom. And I'm like, sir, that woman's paying all the bills. Like, you don't have a job.
Who is this guy? Who is? I've never seen this
That's
guy.
her baby daddy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I
So
rarely know who Kiki Palmer is, but I did some research on her.
yeah.
But
But
that's
then you
interesting.
look at and people trashed her because he wouldn't protect her.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I
So
saw that.
if your man is not protecting you, he should not be your
But
man.
if you go and Usher's been holding that residency over at Vegas for a few years now.
Yeah.
He's serenading.
Mhm.
I'm an ex-singer. He's serenading. That's all that was.
Usher's just making his money, man.
That's it. That's all that was. He wasn't being disrespectful. He's serenading.
Yeah.
That's all he was doing. And if you go back and you watch clips of him over in Vegas at that residency, he serenaded a ton of women over the years. I think he's had that thing for about 3 years.
Yeah. And that's what he does. Like 5 nights a week or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like I
But
said, I didn't see a problem with it. I didn't see a problem at all with it.
it's no problem with it. She looked absolutely fantastic. He was insecure, who knew who he was because Usher has more money.
I didn't see a problem with it at all.
But
I
you'll
really didn't.
like Steve Harvey's wife. You'll see her in outfits all the time, and he would kill you if you said something about his wife.
Right.
You know?
He's a funny
Same
dude.
thing with Denzel. Denzel? Is that proper? I don't think that's proper pronunciation. Anyway, about his wife. He defends his wife as well. You know what I
As
mean?
he should. As he
And
should.
and that's the way it should be. It's ridiculous seeing these guys pretending to be something that they're not, and the only way they can be what they're pretending to be is to put other people down.
As
Right?
he should.
Because that's not what men who are secure in themselves do. Right? A man secure in himself would see if Kiki was his wife, like, yeah, she looked damn good. Did you see that? That's a coming home to me.
Exactly. She was nice, very nice looking. I
But
didn't see a problem with it myself.
yeah, but then there's another guy out here showed a picture of her with and without makeup. He's like, look at her without makeup. She's not even cute. I'm like, really? This is what we're going to?
Yeah, I didn't see a problem with it at all. So
It's the same thing as the chest beating. Because you're not
exactly.
secure in your position. He's not secure in his position. So he has to beat his chest, and instead of having the conversation with her, he was having the conversation with the rest of us, and the rest of us saw right through it.
Right. That's cool. What's your closing remarks? We're gonna get out a little earlier today.
Okay.
I hope he's getting restless and he needs a walk.
All right. So let's see. Learning lesson.
Yeah, it's a teachable moment.
My teachable moment is no matter who you are, male or female, or non binary, to be confident in who you are. Be aware of your flaws. Be aware of your amazing gifts. And be self-confident, because when you're self-confident in yourself, it shows. Your inner beauty will shine, your light will shine, and people will see it.
Absolutely. My teachable moment is you don't have to beat your chest to say you're the man.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to bring your volume over 5. Keeping it at 70 with the breeze will get you a clear understanding. When you walk into the room, the energy gravitates towards you. So you don't need to brag about it, need to talk about it. Everybody see you. Simple as that. We appreciate you guys for tuning in to us each and every week. Actually on Wednesday, especially Wednesday, that's one of my favorite days where we get to talk about social justice and all that good stuff and policies and all that stuff. Everything that's going on in the world, man. Coach D and I really appreciate you guys' support. We see the numbers coming in all the time. So we'll continue to actually push out this great content. We really appreciate you guys right here on the B2G Unity TV Network right there on the Roku channel, B2GUnityTV.com, where they can find you, Coach D, for the coaching, the meditation, all that good stuff.
You can dlayler.com.
DLayler.com.
Yeah, or
If
you
you're
can.
interested in a coaching session, dlayler@gmail.com.
Yeah,
Good stuff.
yeah,
Good
just
stuff.
hit me up. I don't have a contact me on my website because my I do a lot of social justice work, so I get a lot of
Exactly. It's kind of,
nasty
yeah,
hate
that's
mails
kind of
from
thing. Yep. Yep.
white supremacists.
Yep.
Uh, so remember the Iowa caucuses are January 15th. New election
Yep.
kicks off.
Yep.
So we'll keep track of everything for you on Wednesdays.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. We recorded one real good one for you guys. So it's actually going to be aired on Wednesday at 7 p.m. It's already scheduled and ready to go, and it's there. Everything's edited and it's there. So yeah, we actually pre-recorded it on Saturday. So we do our recordings on Saturdays, and we release it the following week. So it'll be ready.
Sounds good.
What was it? What I can't remember the title. What was the title?
I can't remember, sir.
Modern day
Uh,
lynching. Was it modern day lynching?
was it Modern Day Lynchings the week before?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. I can't
I thought
remember,
we.
folks. I'm sorry. I apologize. But it'll be 7 Central, 8 Eastern, right there on the B2G Unity TV network, right there on your Roku channel. The Roku stick, all that good stuff. So
Neither of us can remember what we talked about yesterday.
I can't remember. I can't remember at all.
We're getting old. That's it.
We're getting very old. Hold on. We're getting a ton of work done. That's all.
Yeah.
Wait, let me pull it up real quick to make sure. I want to
Yeah.
make sure. Let's pull it up. Hold on a sec. Let's see.
I don't. Xavier has my computer downstairs, so I can't bring it up on my phone.
I'll pull it up right here. One sec.
Yeah. So keep an eye on. We're getting ready to go. I'll be getting ready to go over all the laws that are being passed, and I'll be who the people running in the primaries really are. So the
Exactly.
people are informed because
Let's see what
we are sitting on the precipice of fascism, folks. No ands if or buts about
Absolutely.
it.
Absolutely. One
People like
second,
me.
folks. It's very important because we did a good one here on and recorded for Wednesday.
I
So
can't remember.
coming up. Coming up right there on the Roku channel. The Roku channel. The topic is oh my God. Hold on a second. Hold on 1 second. Where is it?
I've just had too many conversations yesterday. I can't remember all
We
of
had
them.
a ton of them. We had a ton of them. I can't remember it. Well, either way, it's right there on the B2G Unity Network, 7 Central, 8 Eastern. It's a ton of work we're doing, man. So it's hard to keep up. Hard to keep up. And I don't have it in front of me. So but 7 Central, 8 Eastern on Wednesday. On Wednesday. Informative information, some great work. Check it out. So until next week, we're doing another live on Sunday. Next Sunday, we'll be right here, same station, same time. Coach Dee and I'll be right away.
Any
Sunday,
thoughts? Any thoughts
but
what we're gonna do next week?
I'm working on one. Working
Okay.
on one.
What's
Yeah.
any hints?
Messy neighbors. Messy
Messy.
neighbors. Hey, what do you call? This is totally off the cuff, but I have to ask you this. What do you call a woman who's actually very stable and she's had her own for a ton of years, and she meets a guy, moves him in, and he's horrible. He doesn't work. He cuts the grass. He does a little cooking for her, but he is a horrible addition to the neighbor that he was actually bought in.
Well,
What
why
do
we
you
give
call that?
her?
What do you call that type of guy?
He's a fuck boy. He doesn't really do anything,
We
right?
should talk about those type of guys. We should talk about those type of guys who actually goes into a woman's surrounding, into a vortex, into her
Oh,
space, and
I
rearrange it.
I remember. I know what you're asking me now. Hobosexuals.
Boom.
That's what you're asking.
My
Yeah.
neighbor is literally with a
Got a whole.
homosexual.
Oh. Poor woman.
And it's so irritating to me because
Did you
wow.
talk to her about it?
I have.
Did you
'Cause
ask? Did you talk to
I've
him?
known her for a ton of years, and it's not a good look. It's not a good look at all.
Well, did you talk to him?
I
Man to
had a
man?
conversation with him, but my conversation with him didn't go as well because I had to tell him his neighbors are not my neighbors. You know what I mean? Meaning his company is not my company. Keep that shit across the fence.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah, we can talk. We can definitely talk about homosexuals.
we're gonna talk about homosexuals on next Sunday on Messy Sundays, homosexuals, because I got one living next door to me. Next door to me. And he hasn't I mean, I just meeting this guy like a couple of years now, but I've known her for like 35 years. She's been my neighbor for like 35 years. And she's
It's a
totally not that type of person to
yeah.
have that person around her. So at
Well,
this point, I don't
sometimes
even care if you see the program.
if the
He's a
goods are the
loser.
goods, you know.
Say again there.
Sometimes some people could be mesmerized by some appendages.
Exactly. Well, he's a nuisance.
Well, I'm going to let you go. It's
There it
8:58.
is. Good stuff.
Before
Good
you say
stuff.
something to get yourself into trouble.
Good stuff. We appreciate you guys, man. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll be right back here on Sunday, next Sunday, for Messy Sundays, as Coach D calls it.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Homosexual is the topic.
And homosexual
Check
can be
it out.
male or female. So just so we know.
Exactly. Don't forget, Wednesday, it's already done. It's already cut and scheduled. 7 p.m. on the Roku channel. Informative information Wednesdays, and we bringing it. So check it out. Real good one.
All right. Have a great night.
You guys be epic.
Bye.
Conversations with Trent in conjunction with Taylor Kennedy Media and your radio network would like to thank you for calling in and listening to tonight's episode. We hope that tonight's conversation offended you just enough to turn your mirror inward to come back for more. So until next week's conversation, be epic.